Warning, this video contains huge spoilers, or should I say all the way through spoilers on every movie. Not that you would want to watch these piece of shits because they're just all that bad, but anyhow, let's get into the video. What's up everyone, Ninja here. Today's video, I'm going to be doing the top 5 worst second movies. Yep, the second movie in franchises. These have to be ones with number 2 in the title. Well, excluding one on the list because it's just that bad I had to put it on there. Though, yes, for the most part we're just including ones that are only number 2 that are bad. But anyhow, it's pretty easy to understand what I'm talking about, so let's get into the video. Coming in at number 5, we have Iron Man 2. Boy, this movie is so boring that I actually wanted to sleep through it because it was just that much I hated it. There was nothing that made me go, oh yeah, I want to watch this again. The only thing I can think of is War Machine's first appearance, but that's about it. Otherwise, Whiplash was about the most boring villain ever. But yeah, otherwise, outside of like the final fight scene, it's the only thing I remember from this movie, which was an okay fighting scene. But being honest, I've seen better from the name Marvel, but overall, yeah, this movie was a snore fest. But anyway, it comes in at the number 5 spot. Coming into the number 4 spot, we have a movie that disappointed me so much that it breaks my heart. Cars 2. Cars 1 is an instant masterpiece. I remember watching that when I was very young, and by the way, this is the movie that was my first ever time I liked something in the cinema, and this was like what, my second movie I went to in the cinemas. And what a perfect way. It was instant favorite by everyone, and overall, when I think of the perfect movie, Cars 1 is the perfect movie. It also had an incredible game, and while it wasn't exactly 10 out of 10 like say the movie, being honest, at least I actually really enjoyed the game too. But yeah, the movie is the definitive experience. However, the same cannot be said for Cars 2. Oh boy, what could have been a sequel that actually lived up instead became a not Cars sequel, which is stupid. We start off with an agent scene. Are you kidding me? In the Cars movie, why are we starting off with an agent scene? This doesn't fit. Okay, well, bad start. Now we're to where the main characters are. Alright, well, it should have started here, and the whole thing about going on a plane to Japan sounds cool. But then the movie goes terrible from here. It's literally about select few races, which by the way the races are terrible, and mostly agent scenes, which mostly are terrible, combined with just not focusing on Lightning McQueen, the main character. How can you not focus on the main character? Imagine if they do that for the new Mario movie. Oh boy, I can't wait to see the comments on the internet. Anyhow, the whole movie is just, we don't know what to do and we're just here to waste time. And let that heartbreaking picture be the perfect image of how it describes Cars 2. Oh yeah, the third movie is somehow just as bad. But anyway, I would say it's worse because I hate it more. But anyway, Cars 2 is a garbage sequel. Let's just 007 our way through this shit. Coming into number 3, we have Iron Man 3. Jokes. Alrighty, jokes aside, the real number 3 is Deadpool 2. And I have a lot to say about this garbage movie. Like Cars 1, first one is the only good one, and Deadpool 1, when I first saw it, I'm like, an R-rated Marvel movie? Are you kidding me? This is going to be terrible. So then I did not go to the cinemas this time around, and instead waited for it to come out on TV. We watched it, and my family and I absolutely enjoyed it, and I was like, I wish I saw this in cinemas. And yeah, it was a surprising hit to us, and I have not had something blow my mind so much like that since Avatar back in 2010. And by the way, that's like the highest box office movie sales, if I'm correct. But anyway, that movie's getting number 2, but I feel like it's gonna be probably just as much of a hate fest as Deadpool 2 for me. But anyway, Deadpool 2. How does the sequel deliver? It doesn't. It's horrible. Shit acting, shit story, shit everything. The only good part, and by the way, this is the only reason why it's actually not number 2, is because Cable was actually pretty good on the acting part. I mean, of course, Deadpool's Deadpool, but, you know, it's the script part is the reason why the acting is shit. Speaking of Cable, he is the same guy that plays Thanos.
I know what it's like to lose. Feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless.
I wish they gave more screen time to Cable and actually give him like a better story instead of what we got in the movie. And man, it would have been cool to see him as either the villain or maybe that one character in the scene he mentions about as the main villain of it all, and then, you know, then him and Deadpool and his crew could go face that bad guy. But no, instead it's this stupid kid that is one of the worst. No, it is the worst kid bad guy character I've ever seen, period. With, guess this, one of my favorite X-Men Brotherhood characters, no, my favorite of them all, Juggernaut. And he sounds like fucking dog shit. He is horrible in this movie. What kind of shit acting is that? And also, both of them are shit acting, but man, Juggernaut, he looks so ugly in this movie. What happened to the iconic red suit and big, muscly guy? Instead, it's just this ugly prisoner one. Last but not least, I don't know the name of this character, but I call her Luck Girl because her whole ability is being lucky. That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Of all the ideas for a power, why luck? Anyone would say you're stupid, and well, that's literally stupid. The ability in itself. Character's terrible, by the way. Anyhow, I could talk about this all day long, but in total I've made about more mistakes than I have been lucky making this video. So, without any further ado, let's move over to the number 2 spot before I become unlucky. Coming in at number 2, we have the laziest movie I have ever seen for a sequel, Wreck-It Ralph 2. I hate this one with a passion. Now, I know that I'm gonna get comments like, but this is not a number 2 movie because of another photo. And to that I answer, I don't care, because this is still the second movie. And by the way, this is the one I mentioned that it may or may not have had number 2, or say the one that has no number 2 in it. Because I'm sure it was originally number 2, but then they realized how shit the movie was and everyone hated it. So they thought, okay, fuck it, let's just remove the number 2 in the title. Too bad, I'm still calling it number 2. Anyway, Wreck-It Ralph 2 is god awful. There is 0 positives in it. I am dead fucking serious. But anyway, Wreck-It Ralph 1, to give you a interesting thing about it. I originally saw trailers back then and I thought this movie was gonna suck because, I mean, they just slapped a bunch of gaming characters and then just expected us to just laugh at everything, and then that's it. Well, short story is I actually went to the cinemas with my mum and dad and my other family member because my mum and dad wanted to see it. I'm like, oh dear, I'm watching this movie, it's gonna suck. At the end of the movie, I liked it and it became instantly my favourite movie, and also one of my favourite movies of all time. But it also is the only game movie at the time that I actually enjoyed. Yes, I gave it an instant masterpiece the moment I got to the end of the whole movie, including the end credits. But man, that movie was fantastic. It was also yet another blew my mind moment like Deadpool 1, but however before Deadpool 1 of, mind blown by how good it was. But man, Wreck-It Ralph 1 was fantastic, very memorable movie, and one that I would rewatch at any time. I mean, any time. Overall, if you're a gamer like me, hell yeah, this is certainly worth it. Anyhow, the sequel, on the other hand, the story is we don't care, we can do whatever we want, suck it up, we'll deal with it. Yep, accurate description of the second Wreck-It Ralph. Anyway, let's move over to the dishonorable mentions. First dishonorable mention is Avengers Age of Ultron. Originally was going to be on the list, but looking back, yeah, it barely made it, though I was very close to attempting it and even swapped between that and Iron Man 2, but overall, yeah, this one didn't come close in the end, and the only good thing was the final fight scene and Ultron's voice acting, and also he looked cool anyway, so that's definitely why it's not on the list. Last dishonorable mention, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now, if you don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 released in 2014, that was an instant masterpiece, and it was as good as Spider-Man 1, 2, and Iron Man 1. But unfortunately, its sequel was not there in any form whatsoever. It was a massive disappointment, the sequel. Though there were some cool scenes to Yondu and Rocket Raccoon fighting with each other together, which was really cool, and don't forget about Yondu's death, which was really sad and almost made me cry. But unfortunately, there was just not many positives in the movie. Overall, despite it not being many positives, it was nowhere near the top 5 list. But anyway, let's move over to the number 1 spot. Coming into the number 1 spot, we have the worst movie in existence ever made of all time. And in fact, my most hated movie I saw ever, including in the cinemas, Grown Ups 2. I regret watching this disgusting, disrespectful movie. Easily the worst movie ever made. It makes The Room look like Iron Man 1. I am dead serious. I'm not even joking. Anyhow, so, short story for Grown Ups 1. It was liked by a lot of people I knew, and though it wasn't really like great or very good, it was considered on the good category, you know, like the decent category movies. But it was mainly because of its funny jokes and just funny, memorable moments. Yeah, it wasn't the best movie ever, but you know what? Sometimes the funniest jokes come from movies that are nowhere near the best movies, and they're considered like the decent category. I mean, I didn't watch it fully when I was young, but damn, I remember the funny jokes. So, how can we make the sequel better? I know, instead of actually, you know, doing a bad job at having some good elements like number 3, 4, and 5 on the list, or hell, even the dishonorable mentions, let's have 0 positives again, just like Wreck-It 2, except for this time around, let's have no story. Just, we have a bunch of characters, we can do whatever we want with the script, we just add random moments to make you think it's memorable but it's terrible, combined with the worst bad guy in existence. Yes, apparently these guys are bad guys. They look like bad teenagers that came from a druggie store. Before I can even get into the beginning of this movie, not really movie experience, because it's just that awful and just a bunch of scenes slapped together, can we just mention the box office looks so bad? I mean, who's going to read the grey text and they'll do anything except for growing up? Excuse me, that sounds like the dumbest line ever. In fact, I made a better version of this garbage thumbnail. Okay, now let's begin the actual movie, not movie. It starts off at the beginning with a reindeer spawning in their bedroom and Sam's character and whatever the wife is. What the hell? Okay, well that's a weird, bizarre start. And how's the scene play? It's terrible. Oh, and apparently that reindeer appears again, but in the worst fighting scene possible, which by the way is the final part of the whole movie, which is trying to be this whole epic good guy versus bad guy thing, but it looks so bad and it's handled so horribly. Oh, please tell me, does this look like a fight scene here? It literally looks like they're having fun doing shits and giggles. Then comes the real Oscar award part. The reindeer kills off the bad guy because apparently the little girl made friends with it. What the fuck? Then the movie ends. Alright, the real definitive ending. The movie ended. Everyone hated it and walked out disappointed. In the end, when the credits are playing, they just walked out. While we walked out, my mum said, I didn't like this movie. My dad clearly showed, without even needing to speak, that he clearly didn't like it. My family member said, this movie sucks. And then I said, This is the worst movie I have ever seen, and we never spoke of this abysmal's a light word, this worst movie to ever exist ever again. And I since put it as the worst movie ever, and I totally agree with myself. This is the worst movie to ever exist, period. Mortal Kombat Annihilation is horrible, but it's funny at the same time. Room is the same thing. And hell, even the garbage gay movies that are all incredibly bad look like great movies in comparison to this trash. Hell, even the recent Mortal Kombat movie, which I hate, with the only good thing being Kano, at least it actually had a character that was good, which was Kano, but that was about it, because everything was god-awful abysmal in that movie. But yeah, this movie, Grudge 2, is the absolute worst definitive movie to ever exist of all time period. It's depressing, horrible, and makes you wish you never saw a movie in your entire life ever again. And I regret watching that piece of shit. Anyhow, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all until whatever's my next video. And I definitely have a top 5 that I have in mind, so better get to that. So see you all until my next video.